Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Sorry for the little late start, just a couple of minutes after the 9:30, but I was finishing a couple of things that I had to do over here at the studio. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Give me just 1 second over here. Just finishing a couple of little touches here. We'll start in just 1 second. We got Aryan over here. We got Aaron as well. We got Manjunath and Volva. Hello, my friends. Hello. There we go. Let's switch to full screen, or the main screen. That's it. Nope, not that one. I'm not sure if the sales is still going on, but if someone can check, that would be great. Over here we're gonna put... There we go. Let's see. Aryan, yes, I did see your message, my friend. I saw your message, but I'm gonna take a look at it after the live stream, okay? Because I just saw it like an hour ago when I woke up, and I need to concentrate on the stream right now if we want to finish this mermaid right here. There we go. Cool. Okay, so as mentioned on the last stream, this artist that I'm going to be referencing heavily today, his name is Carlos Ortega Elizalde, in Spanish, Carlos Ortega Elizalde. He's a huge guy here in Mexico. He's been in the industry for a long time, and I really like his style. He has this very famous pinup style, so it's of course like super stylized and super exaggerated, but you can see how like nicely he manages to capture like the proportions of the female face. It reminds me quite a bit of another one of my favorite artists, which is Scott Campbell from the comics. You guys have probably seen some of his stuff as well. So we're going to be referencing some of the characters that he has done, and we're going to be using not the exact same proportions, but just a couple of those proportions here for our character. And we do have a what's the word? A lot of work. We do have a lot of work for this one. Let's see how far we can take it. Give me just 1 second, guys. Give me just 1 second. Okay. Good morning, my friends. Daniel, Tinkmesh, how are you, my friends? It's Yvonne. There we go. So, as I was mentioning, we do have quite a bit of work right here to do, because initially last week when we were starting this project, we just managed to get a general like blocking going. Now we need to go all the way and see how far we can push this. By the way, during the weekend we had the special live streams. I know some of you guys were there, but if you were not there, we saved all of those elements in the live stream section. So there's 2 full classes available for you, my friends. 2 full classes that that cover the sculpting and process for a 3D, for like a 3D print sculpt. There we go. So let's jump into the character right here. I'm gonna dynamic solo, and I'm gonna start again using a little bit of the information that we have here from Carlos to get a nicer shape here on my face. There was one really cool one, this one right here. And as you can see, there's a very specific curvature that he has for the different parts of the character, such as the forehead. So I'm gonna start trying to mimic a little bit of that. And I actually wanted to use this like opportunity to talk a little bit about AI, because this has been a very frequent questions that we've gotten in the comments, in the Discord, in the live streams. Like, what the hell, like, are we supposed to do with AI moving forward, right? And I think AI has definitely come to challenge the way we do things in a lot of different fields. If you guys have been up to speed or reading like the kind of things that we've been we've been seeing on other parts, like there was a huge claim with lawyers, right, where ChatGPT could pass the bar test, which is like the lawyer test based on the knowledge of like previous like law cases and that kind of stuff, right? So in our stuff, in our industry, in the 3D industry, in the art industry, I would definitely say that the biggest like swift or no, not swift, like the biggest change that we've had so far has been the illustrations, right, like concept art and stuff like that. So it has definitely come to change the rules of the game, and it's gonna be like very short time or very little time until we start seeing things like that being applied to 3D stuff. So my general view with AI art is that we need to see it as a tool. Okay, so when we see AI as a tool and we utilize that tool as part of our work, what's the word? Really slow today. If we use that tool as part of our pipeline, as part of our toolbox, that kind of skills that we can use and implement, and we add on top of it all of the things that we normally learn about art and about all of the other softwares, that means that we're gonna be able to utilize and maximize the benefits that AI can give us in the in this industry. Oh, I cannot pronounce your name, my friend, but it says, when will the next portfolio review be? It's going to be in the middle of June, so you can already start submitting your stuff either on the Discord channel or on the description link that we have here on the video, so that I can take a look at your stuff in the middle of the month. By the way, yesterday I finished the newest course that's going to be releasing very soon. I'm not sure exactly about the date. It's probably going to be either at the end of this week or during the next week. And it's going to be a new introduction to Maya, or not introduction, complete guide to Maya 2024. So it's an update from actually a very, like one of my first videos that I did for the channel, which was the introduction to Maya 2022. We got the complete guide to Maya 2023, which is still going to be quite valid because that's a full production. Like a full production pipeline, but this one's gonna be a little bit more focused on the on the different parts of the techniques that we can learn, such as modeling, rigging, texturing, UVs. It's for beginners, so I know maybe quite a bit of you guys might not be as interested in that one. Because it's definitely for beginner students. But if you have been learning Blender and you want to jump into Maya, or if you've learned ZBrush and you want to learn a little bit more about Maya, then it's going to be a really good course. After that, I'm actually looking for suggestions, my friends. We're looking for suggestions. We got a couple of ideas of what to do next. So let me know here in the comments if there's a specific topic that we haven't covered on our courses that you would like to see. Let's see. 3D Atmospheres asks, as a beginner, how to learn about character modeling? I would say character modeling should come after you've learned about other parts of the pipeline. So if you already master or are really good at things such as prop modeling and just like very basic sculpting instead of ZBrush, that's when you can jump and do your character modeling. If you haven't learned ZBrush 3D Atmosphere, you definitely need to do the complete guide to ZBrush 22 that we have, because that one covers all of the basics that you need for that particular skill set. Now, if we take a look at Carlos's work, you're gonna see, oh, that's also a really nice profile right there. But you can see that his faces are really like heart-shaped. The proportions are really exaggerated. Like, you can see the lips are really big, the eyes are really big. I'm not gonna be exaggerating them as much, it's not my style. But I am gonna give her a little bit more of a puffy face on the cheeks right there. And I do think I'm gonna give her a little bit more lip volume. Just a tad bit there. Now, of course, you can see that we're still getting some weird lines here on the lips. We definitely need to smooth those or modify those a little bit. We're gonna need way more geometry. As you can see, we're already struggling with the amount of the polish that we have available for us. And faces, they're one of those things that we definitely need a little bit more volume to make them look nice. Now I'm gonna remove the ears with Trim Dynamic, and we're gonna insert some new ears because those were looking a little bit bad. And this is a tip that I frequently like share when working on characters specifically. Since we are not computers and we cannot work on every single part of the character at the same time, there will be a moment where you have something that looks very nice, for instance here on the face, but then you look at other parts that are not looking as nice, and you might think that the face is the problem, but it's not the face. It's the fact that we need kind of like the whole context to really appreciate like how our characters are looking. So I'm gonna go VI, and here on the IMM tune, we got some ears that we can use as base meshes. So we got this giant ear, alien chuck head, or actually let me go to VI, and we're gonna go to the body parts. And here we go, we got a little ear right there. It's not the perfect ear or the most perfect ear, to be honest. Like, I actually don't like this ear as much. I'm gonna keep it. You can see his ears are quite big as well. So I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger than I would normally do. There we go. Oh, let's go back to play build up and let's see some questions right here. Mr. J says Skillshare is so much worth it because of next to it. Oh, there you go, man. Yeah, I think Skillshare is subscription based, so if you get access to Skillshare, you can access all of our courses for the subscription price. We do have a promo where you can get I think like a 15-day or 30-day free trial. So if you guys want to give it a shot, Skillshare is also good. And of course, it helps supports the channel. If you want to own the courses forever and you want to keep all of the files and stuff, then either Udemy or ArtStation are other places where you can get the courses. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Let's go to the hair. I really want to like do a little bit of work here on the hair. I'm gonna do a cut. Look, I was doing this hair, but it looks a little bit too much like Ariel's hair from the Little Mermaid, and I want to do something a little bit different. Ooh, that one looks cool. Let's do that one. I like that one. So let's do symmetry. And let's start sketching the general hair. So it's coming from the front, going back, and then we got like two main like loops going down right here. This is just a very quick sketch. We're gonna be refining it. Like you can see, it looks very square right now. So I'm gonna use Trim Dynamic, and we can even use the Move brush as well. There we go. And I would imagine those like two main like loops of hair that we have here at the front, they're gonna be moving all the way to the back and probably into a braid, right? Like it's very common for this sort of like hair thing to create the braid along with like hair that's coming here from the center of the head. So again, just a very quick sketch to get an interesting idea. Now you can see that this one is coming like all the way from here. So let's start sketching all of this part right here. Let's go. Through the Atmosphere says, can you have any course related to character modeling or anatomy? We already have several of those, like for instance the Thyros course, the Demon character course. It's 2 parts. The first one is sculpting and the second one is texturing. That's the whole like pipeline. We did the sci-fi character girl recently. That's also anatomy, like female anatomy, and we're gonna be doing the texturing soon, but not the next one. Chloe T says, have you considered doing a course on SIVA or in general muscle seams for creatures? We've considered doing more advanced stuff, but here's the thing. Unfortunately, those things are, like, as the name implies, really advanced. So unless you're going to be working on like super big productions, you're not going to be using SIVA as much. Like, for instance, here in the studio where I am at, since we do a lot of PR stuff, we don't use any sort of like muscle deformation or anything. Yes, the animations don't look as nice as what you could get with a muscle deformation, but it's I think it's like a price that you need to pay for that sort of stuff that's really high, and unless you're really gonna be using it for a production, it might not be what's the word, profitable, I think is the word. So it's a very specialized skill. So here we try to share with you guys all of the skills that you will use at most of the studios, and that's a skill that you might not use everywhere, so therefore it might not sell as well, and that's why we don't do like super advanced things like that one. Let's see. Para says, but will there be a value to our work even though people start to use AI as a tool? Yes, I was mentioning this. Give me 1 second. Dog is eating my freaking table. This dog is super crazy. Go on. The value of things, and this is one of the disadvantages, right, of living in this sort of like capitalistic world. So the value of our work will be determined by the market, and of course if AI comes along and it starts lowering the entry level for things that usually take like quite a bit of time to master, then there will be an adjustment on that kind of stuff. But I was mentioning this on one of the live streams during the weekend. The people that are gonna be using the AI generated stuff, because for them that's more than enough, where are the people that would never actually hire you. Okay, so imagine that there's, I don't know, like a guy that wants to do an indie video game, and he's like, I'm gonna do everything, I just need a concept artist to get like the ideas for the character. Well, if he is like completely convinced that he's gonna be able to do the game by himself, and he just needs a concept art of, let's say, a mermaid, right? Then nothing's gonna stop him from going to like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or any of this like generators and generating some concept arts for his mermaid. The thing is, that guy was gonna do that anyway. Like if AI didn't exist, he was not gonna go and hire a concept artist. He was gonna go to Google Images, he was gonna find the first mermaid that he could and that he liked, and then he was gonna try to get away with it by just like using the concept without asking permission or without buying permission, right? So the kind of people that will be using AI for their stuff were the kind of people that were never gonna be hiring like traditional, or I would say like real artists from the beginning, right? So we don't need to worry about those clients or those people, because again, they were not someone that we were gonna be like actually working with at any point. The people that we need to worry about are the big businesses, right? Or the small businesses that are like, hey, I want to have like a graphic design for my new business, and I was considering hiring a graphic designer, but now that we have all of these AI tools, now I might not do it, and I might just use the AI tool to save a little bit of money. For those, that's where we need to really offer them the idea, or explain to them that the reason why we as artists are better than an AI is that we have a different vision. And AI is just the average things, right? Like when you go in and use Midjourney or any of these things and you ask for something, it's gonna give you the most generic, like normal looking things. Even people that do like really complex prompts, they're gonna get like things that have been done before in one way or another, because that's how the models work. They use the information from what they know about the internet and they just like throw it back in their own way, right? Like they don't understand. That's I think the big thing about AI as of right now, right? This might change later on, but as of right now, AI does not understand what it's actually creating. It just knows that it's doing something that you're asking it. And it's like, oh, hand, he wants a hand. Okay, perfect. So this is what I know a hand is. And I'm just gonna like throw in together images and pixels that resemble a hand. So that's the thing, right? So I think our art is still gonna be quite valuable because we have the opportunity, or we as humans, we understand what we're doing and we can imprint that understanding into the creations that we do. I'm not sure if that sounded like a little bit like a rant, but that's why I'm not too scared about things. However, and I've been telling this to my students quite a bit, things will change, my friends, and we need to be like very, very aware of where these things are going. Like, I'm really worried about, for instance, like writers. You guys know that right now in the United States there is a strike going on with the Writers Association, with the Writers Guild, because there are jobs and they were like productions that were starting to use AI, for instance, to generate the scripts for like shows and movies and things like that. And even though, again, they're not giving you, or they're not going to give you like a masterpiece, sometimes it will give you more than enough. Like if you're one of those clients that doesn't care about quality and that you just want like the things to be done and to be cheap, then yeah, AI can definitely create a story that's like something, right? Like at least coherent, and that's what people are arguing against. So we gotta be very, very aware of what's going on around the world with 3D art and 3D generation, so that we can adapt to it and not be left behind. I think that's the main, like, that will be my main conclusion right there. Let's see. Mr. J is currently taking the hard surface modeling in Maya right now. Yeah, that's a really good one. I highly recommend the Anatomy for Sculptors book. Yep, that's also a really great reference. Do you recommend any brushes for us to get? The Orb brushes, which are free, are really good for like stylized stuff. I strongly recommend those ones. Thinkmesh says, on one of the weekend streams you mentioned that to texture a window, you must use the shader in the game engine. So I was wondering if that is the general process for all of the translucent objects. Yes, I mean, you can use a transparent object inside of Substance. There are ways to create one, and it's not that difficult. We might do that during this week. I think that's a good exercise for the YouTube channel. But the thing is, for glass to really look like glass, you're gonna be using, or you're gonna be doing shader things. And Substance Painter is a texturing software. So remember that in regards to texturing and rendering, there's three things. That's textures, which are like the materials and how you calibrate those maps. There's shaders, which is the way that the physical shader is gonna react to the light. And then there's lights and shadows, right? So you can have a really nicely textured window. You can have a really nice, like a window or glass shader inside of what's the word, of Maya or Unreal. But then if the light that you have on your scene is bad, it's not gonna look nice. Okay, so there's again like several different things that play to get a nice effect right there. Okay, there we go. I think the eyes are looking okay, but I definitely would like to see the eye look like the actual eyes. So I'm gonna append a sphere. Let's minimize this right here. A little bit bigger. Let's get it into position. So if we have the eyelids, these things should be like fairly close. There we go. Not super close, but fairly close. And we're gonna transform, mirror on the x-axis. We're gonna go to the character now, and let's bring the eyes out. There we go. Dynamesh. And for this sort of like stylized characters, the eyelids are really, really important. They tend to be quite big. So I'm gonna use my move brush here to do this, and I'm gonna use my clay buildup to push the back of the eyelid in a little bit more. It's also gonna give more depth to the eye. Let's just move brush. The eyelid should always go like very, very cleanly around the eye right there. Let's see. I'm currently following your props course, the radio enhancements. That's not my course. That's Arash's, but it's a really good course as well. Arash did that course. It's a AAA props for games. Really, really good as well. So yeah. Remember, guys, I'm not the only instructor on the team. We got a lot more people working. Some of them work like kind of like full time with us, and other people we invite to collaborate for some tutorials every now and then. So, for instance, Arash and Daniel, they're right now part of the core team. And we've had other instructors such as Victor Yamakado, really good. The good one, he's got the likeness course for like Anthony Hopkins. So that one's really good as well. Aaron says, sir, I have a question. Is it okay to mix up photorealistic 3D models and also stylized 3D models? Yes, it's totally fine. Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people do it. I do it, so it's fine. Like most of the time, the productions will be one or the other, right? When you go into like a game or like a movie, you're either gonna be doing like realistic stuff, or you're gonna be doing stylized stuff or cartoon. But it's totally fine to combine those. Those sides look really weird. Let's look for a side view to see how Carlos does it. Oh, and this is what I wanted to explain with this thing right here. Like, by using, for instance, right now what I'm doing is I'm using Carlos's references, all of the work that he's done throughout the years, and I'm using that to create my character right here. Does that mean that I'm stealing from Carlos? No. In art, we consider referencing as part of the as part of the learning process, right? Like we look up to an artist that we really like, and we use his art to get inspired and to create something that's really cool. So it's not stealing when we reference. And there's a lot of people that say that AI is doing that. AI is referencing things, but I don't think it's the same, because AI, if I were to, for instance, feed an AI model with all of Carlos's work right here, it will create something that looks really similar. And but again, without any like actual thought, it just finds the patterns, it just finds like the proportions and stuff, and throws in the result, which is, again, we go into that sort of like great area of is it copying, is it stealing? I feel at that particular point that it is stealing, because if I want an art piece or an art concept that looks like Carlos's work, I need to hire Carlos, right? Like, he is the one that can do it, so he should be the one getting hired, not an AI. If you just want inspiration or general like understanding of things, then again, AI just to give you a nice like start or to get your mind going and thinking about things, I think it's a good tool. But once you start like referencing specific artists and stealing from their work to create things that are like theirs, that I think that's my limit right there. Like, I think that's where AI definitely needs to be regulated. Let's see. Process. Can I do advanced ZBrush character creation course after the completion of Complete Guide to ZBrush 2022 course? Yes, it's definitely gonna be a little bit of a step. Like, you're gonna feel like certain things are a little bit more complicated than others, because the advanced character stuff is, well, as the name implies, quite advanced. But you can do it. Let's increase the perkiness there on the nose. And let's add a little bit of volume here on the eyes, just a little bit. Try dynamic. Looks a little bit weird from the front, so I need to find another picture where the character is looking forward to see again how he captures the shape. There we go. So as you can see, the shape, it's kind of like a very accelerated teardrop shape. So you can see the corner of the eye is a lot lower. It's kind of like a triangle, right? So by doing that, we're improving the proportions. Let's go to the eyes. I'm gonna bring them out a little bit more. And he's got this like really accelerated curve going up. And then this really clean side view as well. There we go. We can polish this a little bit right there. Let's see. Kim Kamchanaga, yeah. Kanchananaga. Hi sir, I'm aspiring to be an environment artist. Do you think it's a good idea to topologize everything by hand or just use zero measure for environment props? The big question is the prop going to be deformed? If the prop's going to be deformed or destroyed or something, you probably do need to retopologize. It doesn't need to be by hand. You can definitely use a zero measure. Again, because you're not gonna be bending it, but there are some props that make sense to have like clean topology, especially like mechanical stuff or like a construction stuff, like buildings and things like that. It's usually better to have like a clean retopology. It doesn't have to be perfect retopology, but just clean retopology. But for other things such as let's say rocks and statues and fountains and things like that, you can definitely get away with just what's the word? With just like a clean remesh, or even sometimes decimation. Now with nanite instead of Unreal, you can definitely just use nanite for that one. Burke, hello my friend. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're doing well. It's been really like tiring days, to be honest. The weekend was really intense with the conferences. They were the longest live streams I've ever done, and talking for 4 hours is definitely definitely something. And then on Monday I had to work all the day to finish the new course, the Maya 2024 course. And yesterday we worked all day on cleaning, on preparing all the files and getting everything ready. There we go. So this is looking way nicer. I really like how he paints the eye right there with like a triangle. So I'm gonna sharpen that thing right there. And look how nice the eyes look now. Like compared to what we had before, these eyes are looking way nicer. And this is one of the like things that I want you guys to learn about this process that I'm running right now. I'm using art, someone else's art, to improve my own creations, right? This is how we learn. There's no other way. Art is a very interesting thing. Because since it's very subjective, every time someone does a piece, they're gonna get slightly different results. There was a quote. I'm gonna paraphrase a quote and adapt it to art because it's a little bit. The original quote is a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna adapt it to art to make it not as controversial. And it says something along the lines of, if civilization was gone today, like if something happened and the whole civilization was just like destroyed and we had to start over. In 2,000 years, again, like if we wait another 2,000 years, science and all of math, all of like technology, like technological stuff, it would be the same, like, or we would get to the same position. Like science will be rediscovered, physics will be rediscovered, like chemistry, biology, like all of the sciences would be rediscovered, and they would be pretty much the same thing, right? Of course, the discoverers might be different people, but it will be the same information. Because they are hard sciences, and the truths that they find about the universe are very factual, right? So if suddenly everyone forgot about gravity, someone would come along and they would rediscover gravity, and they would find out that it's 9.8 meters per second squared and stuff like that. Well, if all of the art in humanity or for humanity disappeared from one day to the next, the art that would be rediscovered would be completely different. It might have a lot of similarities, but it would be completely different because art is subjective. So the only way we learn about art is by learning from other artists. We can, of course, discover our own stuff, but we learn a lot from other people. So every single piece of art is what we call derivative, because we take information from our experiences, from the world around us, from the people that we admire, and we transform them into our own stuff. Georgie, well, Burke saying, I did not want to miss the live stream. No, you did not miss them, or you did not miss it, my friend. We're right here. Now, let me show you a trick, guys. This is a trick that I actually saw again, talking about like learning and adapting from other people, I saw this trick from someone doing it in Blender. So we're gonna do the eyelids. So as you can see, one of the things that really makes this character's pop is this sort of like eyelid shape that they have. So I'm gonna go to the top of the eyelid, and I'm gonna mask out this part right here. We're gonna mask out all of this section, which is where not the eyelid, the eyelashes. So we're gonna mask this out. You can see just by masking it out, it already looks a little bit nicer. But what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go to extract, and I'm gonna extract this at 0 thickness. And hit accept and hit accept. And if we dynamic solo, this is what we're gonna have. Now what I wanna do is I wanna clean this shape. So I'm gonna go to see remesher. So geometry, see remesher, and we're gonna see remesh. And we're gonna say half. And we're gonna keep see remeshing until we have a super low poly, like poly strip. More. So we can go lower. There we go. So as you can see, a super clean like poly strip. Let's smooth it out a little bit right there. And I'm actually gonna be deleting this like final bits. So delete hidden. We should have this thing right here. And now that we have this, which is again a really clean strip, we can go to dynamic subdiv and use thickness to create the actual element right there. Look at that. So we create this. I'm gonna remove dynamic subdiv. One of the things that we need to do is we need to clean the border a little bit. You can see that the border is not on the whole surface. So this trick I saw the first time, there was I don't remember who it was, like the artist, but if you look, Arcane Vi from League of Legends, you guys remember the series from a couple years ago? So they had this, they were doing this fan art of Vi, and he did everything inside of Blender, which is quite impressive. Certain things will definitely be a little bit easier in ZBrush, I think, but as we've mentioned before, Blender is a really powerful software. There we go. So as you can see, we got that right there. I'm gonna make the thing that's a little bit slow, a little bit less intense, so something like this. There we go, and we hit apply. So now we have a little like strip that we can use. Let's dynamesh this. Actually, let's not dynamesh it, but we can use this strip to create the shape of the eyelashes. So we get them really close there to the eye. And then with move brush, we can go a couple of subdivision levels down. And we can start creating this sort of like interesting shape. The idea with this is that by having that clean like geometry that we had before, we should be able to have a little bit more control over the curvature. Can see, especially when we do a render and everything looks of the same material, we're gonna get a really nice look right there. Burke is saying, Abraham, I want to ask a question about the courses. Have you ever think making courses about film and VFX industry creating characters, maybe for animation films? Since that's not really my specialty, I'm a little bit more focused in games. I have not particularly thought about doing that. However, we are looking for more instructors that can help us fill up those gaps as well. And doing like the Mario Bros movie, like a stylized character, I think would be a cool project as well. We're also looking for VFX artists and compositing artists, because that's another thing that we don't have as much of, and we know that there's a little bit of demand for that because there's people that want to do that as well. So yeah, all of the suggestions, my friends, we really appreciate, because that's how we know what kind of stuff we should be working on next. For another reference right here, you can see, for instance, here, very important thing is the clavicles. So I'm gonna use clay buildup to indicate where the clavicles would be, and that's going to be a really nice detail there for our character. Now see how he keeps the neck very, very simple. Now his neck is definitely really, really thin, kind of like a doll, because he's again going for this sort of like pin-up effect, which is fine. But in my case, I don't want to do that. I'm going to keep a thin neck, but not super, super thin. It's a little bit more like this. And I do want to very, very, very like softly indicate the muscles that we have right here, which are the sternocleidomastoideus muscles, which goes from the jawline towards the clavicles right there. Now, the neck, a very, very important thing about the neck is we want to keep the neck as straight as possible. Like you can see right now, it looks like a V shape. So we have two options. We either push this out right there or push this in a little bit right there. And that's going to give us a more like stylized, nicer looking neck. It's definitely quite stylized. You can see it has, my character has this very, very long neck. So I'm going to bring the clavicles up a little bit. And there we go. Yeah. We like I can't. I've been trying to to tell Nalin this for the past couple of months. Like I love 3D and I love learning about new stuff. But even if I could learn more things that I normally don't do, it's better if we can get people that are actually doing that specific like skill, so that they can really, really teach the things that are being used in the industry, right? There are a couple of things that I'm gonna be teaching, of course, and we're gonna keep learning about those. But for the most specialized things, especially like, again, like effects, we definitely want to bring someone else who's a lot more experienced than me in that sort of things, or in those sort of things. Okay, let's go to the mouth now, and let's make her smile a little bit more. And when we smile, one thing that happens is that we start getting this like puffy effects here on the face. So I'm gonna add a little bit of volume there, and then of course we need to blend it a little bit more. I'm not sure what material I'm using. Yeah, I figured. Let's go to my starter material. There we go. That material looks a lot better, because that matte cat gray, it gave us some weird shadows. I mean, the render right now is looking horrible because of the lights, but the material here is looking a little bit better. Brahim! What the hell, dude? You were not subscribed? Come on, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon right there, and it's gonna help us quite a bit. We're almost, I think we're almost at 38,000 subscribers or something like that. We've been steadily growing, and if my calculations are right, by the time that my birthday hits on August, we're gonna be 40,000 subscribers. It's gonna be really, really cool. But we're not gonna get our YouTube badge unless we get to 1,000 subscribers. So we're still a long ways away from that, but yeah, it's still growing. Also, remember guys that the Discord information is on the comments. So if you want to join the Discord, we're not getting any badge there or anything, but it's a fun community. We got a lot of activity over there. People sharing their works in progress, questions and stuff. So all of those things are available there on the Discord. Sometimes I've jumped into the chat channel to explain specific things. So feel free to join to the Discord as well. Be part of that community too. I'm using Trim Dynamic here to polish the lower section of the head. And then I'm gonna like bevel that jawline so that we get a nicer contour. There we go, not bad. Thanks, my friend. Thanks, Brahim. Thank you for the subscription. It really helps the channel. There we go. So that looks really nice. Now, what should we do for her chest area? Because usually mermaids have, like there are some mermaids that do not have anything, like this one right there. But some mermaids will have some sort of like a bra, like a seashell bra or something. Should we go classic with a seashell bra? Should we try something a little bit more interesting? because now we can start polishing. I think the face looks way better now, like a lot more refined, and I think now we can start working on the body. We'll keep working on the body. I'm gonna start softening the arms and everything, because we want to have a really clean, like soft look overall, while keeping, of course, the proportions in the silhouette. We want to keep a nice clean surface. Let's turn off the hair for just a second. There we go. This is very important, my friends. When we're doing things that overlap the characters, even if they're going to be present like on the final render, you definitely want to make sure that your character looks good even without those things. So if my character was a bald mermaid and we had something like this, we need to make sure that she looks good as well, because otherwise we're just hiding things, and that's no bueno. By the way, can anyone check, just very quickly, just jump into Udemy and check if the code is still working? Because if it's not working, I need to take it out here from the preview. I'm not sure if today's the last day of the promo. All of our courses are at, with the huge discount that we normally offer. But if it's not, I'll just remove the code, because I don't want to confuse anyone. So if anyone can very quickly jump to Udemy and check if the code is working, you don't need to buy anything. Just let me know if the code is working. That would be great. Meanwhile, let me look for some reference of mermaids. Like, let's see what they have to cover the chest area. So again, the seashell is very common. Let's look for mermaid concept art. That's a very simple, like, crop top. Just another simple crop top right there. It seems like seashells or naked are the usual ways to go. I don't want to do seashells because I feel like that's a little bit too obvious or too common. There we go, something like that, like a corset looks a little bit better, I think. Guess we could do that. This one is actually not bad, like removing them completely or adding some sort of like details. I actually kind of like that thing as well. That idea right there, like kind of like some gills or something, because technically I don't think they're mammals. So if we added like some sort of like detail right here, or we keep the silhouette but we add this sort of like forms, doesn't look bad, do they? What do you guys think? Should we go with this sort of like pattern shape only? Let me know in the comments. I wanna know what you guys think. Okay, Josh Obando says, yeah, I can turn the music down. There we go. That was Josh Obando. No, that was Aaron. Josh says, I think the link's working fine. Says 5 hours more at the discounted price. Nice. I have one more question regarding advanced ZBrush character creation. May I ask? Yes, of course. Shoot. Tell me the question. I'm gonna do some quick sketches here to see if we can find like an interesting shape. Again, like a corset shape might also be a good idea. There's a lot of naked mermaids. That's AI, for instance. Like I can like immediately tell that this is AI. And that's the thing about AI. This is one of the things that we're mentioning. Like when you see it, it's very obvious that it is AI. So if you're looking for something that's not AI, you gotta be looking for artists that can do what you're asking for. Yeah, there's a lot of like naked mermaids. So I think we're gonna end up going with like a naked mermaid, to be honest. Like something like this. Like some interesting effects. The code alt May 2 works nice. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for like just checking very quickly. Process in advanced ZBrush character creation course. Do you show the rendering process only in UE5 or do you show it in Arnold also? We show it in Arnold as well. So it's both engines. So let's see how this would look with like some interesting patterns right here. We can kind of like hide, because usually the main issue with the chest, with the female chest, is the breast area. So if we can kind of like hide that breast area, we're usually good. Some sort of armor might also be a good idea. Good morning. I mean, actually, let's do armor. I think an armor pattern might be interesting. So we're gonna start here on the arm. And we're gonna mask out to sketch the armor that we want. Curves and spirals are really like watery, so they fit nicely with this sort of like with this sort of characters. I'm gonna have one main curve going here on where the nipple would be. We're not gonna have nipples, like we're gonna keep the shape right here. So this armor that we have is just going to be a way to bring out or remove a little bit of attention from the character. Go. Just like waves on her body. When we were playing D&D a couple of years ago, my wife, she had a character. It was a water sorcerer, so she had a lot of like mermaid, like cliche, not cliches, motifs is the proper word. So a lot of mermaid motifs on her character. It was very cool. Just make sure that it looks good from everywhere. Amit, good morning, my friend. I did see your message, Leo. Let me know if you want me to answer that one. I did read it, but I'm not. If you remove it, I don't wanna answer a question that you don't want to ask. Don't worry, but I did read it. That's a perfectly valid question, by the way. Let's remove the sharpness on these things. We don't want to have any sharp like bits, because sharp bits can cause some issues. There we go. That looks interesting. So now we're gonna say again extract with 0 thickness, and as you can see, this is what we're gonna get. I'm gonna show you a couple of tricks here. First, I'm gonna go all the way down to deformation. I'm gonna use this called polish by features. And what this will do is it will clean up the borders a little bit, so that we don't have to be dealing with all of this like pointy, jaggedy edges. Then with my move brush, I am gonna clean up some of the borders that are more like intense, like that. And I'm gonna go to geometry, see remesh, and we're gonna see remesh. And ideally, as you can see, see remesh is gonna give us a really clean topology, which is exactly what we're going for. We can do another polish by features, by the way. So here again, deformation, we can polish by features. And this is, as you can see, gonna tighten up the borders. And then what I wanna do is I wanna keep giving this more see remesh. So we're gonna see remesh half. And again, until we have something that looks like clean enough. Like this is fairly usable, I would say. And as you can see, that gives us a really clean armor that again, if we go to dynamic subdivision, or even to Sim Modeler, we can use QMesh, for instance. We can use QMesh, like polygroup all, and just give thickness to it. And that's gonna give us a really, really clean armor. This is something that we could have done with like quad draw inside of Maya or things like that. But as you can see, it gives us a nice result. Then I'm gonna go to bevel. I'm gonna go to the edges and we're gonna bevel. We're gonna bevel the edge loop complete. Let's do poly loop instead. There we go. So as you can see, we beveled the whole poly loop. I'm gonna be very aggressive with the bevel. And then I'm gonna use my insert to insert some support edges to that new bevel that we just created. And what that should do is when we divide, we're gonna have really, really clean topology. Look at that. Not bad, right? Not bad. Looks like a little bit of piece of armor that's holding her breast area, and it looks really nice. So that's a very, very quick way in which we can generate this sort of things. Now, of course, we can like work a little bit with the silhouette and just clean it up if it doesn't look as nice. For instance, this part right here, I think I'm gonna just push it out a little bit more. There we go. So that it's not touching the arm, and so that she can like move her arm freely towards the front part. Leo is asking, Leo Good Team is asking, hi Master, how many high quality projects do you think are necessary to get a job as a 3D designer for video games? That's a great question. I mean, as with everything, it depends, right? But I would say your portfolio should have at least like 6 or 7 pieces that are really good. If you want to be like a modeler or a texture artist, like you should have like at least 6 or 7 really, really good pieces. That's what my portfolio had when I graduated, and it helped me land my first job. So I'll probably go with a number like that one. But if you're gonna be a game designer, like if you want to be like designing the mechanics of the game and stuff like that, one of the things that you need to do is you need to create like a website or something so that people can download like game like proposals that you're doing. Like I taught at a school here in Mexico called XP Academy. It's in Monterrey, and one of their final projects is they need to do like a small indie game, and they share that indie game on the internet so that people can download it and give feedback. So if you're coming up with a really interesting like idea or like concept for a game, and you were able to create the design for it, then the like showing people that you did it is very, very important. I want to see how much detail he added. There is definitely the middle line right there on Carlos's character, so I am gonna add the middle line as well, and we're gonna smooth it out. Of course, that's gonna be the navel. There we go. And then to clean this shape, what we can do is we can start adding a little bit of the like abdominal muscles, just a quick indication. I personally find the little belly right here a nice detail. Like I don't like when characters are like super ripped and you can see every fiber of the muscle. I feel like that makes them look a little bit of natural. Like it's very, very difficult to be like at that sort of like peak, like super dehydrated level for a long time. They did an interview not too long ago to Hugh Jackman, I think, or Henry Cavill, one of those guys, about the superhero like regime that they need to follow when training and when filming. And one of the things that they mentioned was like, it was brutal because like a couple of days before they had to record a very particular scene where the characters were going to be like almost fully naked. They would stop eating, they would stop drinking water just to dehydrate as much as possible and show as much muscle as possible. They would need to do a lot of workouts. So it was just like, they were like, no, that's not like when you see Wolverine like super pumped and super jacked on the film, that's not how you want to look every single day. It's just not possible. It's not healthy at all. There we go. Not bad. I like how this is going. Now we definitely need to do something about the tail right here. We need to add some patterns or something. So first I'm going to use my trim dynamic to clean some of this area. Whenever I'm working on a newer area, I like to use trim dynamic to clean it up first, kind of like a blank slate, and then from there we can start adding more and more elements. So following this sort of like pattern that we have right here, I think I'm going to be adding some armor as well on the hips. But first we need to divide the hips from the body. So I'm going to create a very subtle division right here. And then here on the actual like tail, I do want to create some shapes. So very, very softly here. You can start bringing in these shapes and then using, for instance, trim dynamic to blend them in again, so they start looking a little more organic. I've seen fish, they have this sort of like ridges sometimes. So I think this type of detail could really work nicely. Let's use the move brush here to round these things a little bit better. We have another one of those details like right around here. Right now it's just a sketch, right? I want to keep the center very, very clean. We talked about that during the weekend. There are some things called rest areas, which are parts of the character that you don't want to like bring too much attention to, because if you do it, what's going to happen is people are not going to have enough time to like appreciate or like take in all of the like graphic informations about your character. I'm also going to be splitting the fins, like this guys right here. They're going to be they should be a different part of the character. Let's get rid of dynamic. Gonna make her hips a little bit wider. There we go. Now, following again the sort of like the same process that we have right here, I actually think this part right here could be armor. So I'm gonna again use trim dynamic to clean these things right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start creating like this armor, like hip armor that we would see right here. I actually, as you can see, I'm not drawing anything here on the where the crotch would be, because I don't want to bring attention to that area. We as humans, we're very primitive, so anything that starts suggesting like sexual things, like the crotch area and things like that, it just like it destroys or it trumps everything. So one of the advices I was given when designing characters is, unless you want that to be an important part of the character or of the creature or whatever, you don't want to bring any attention to those areas, because the audience will just look at those areas. And sometimes when doing patterns like this, they can look like arrows that are like straight pointing to an area. And again, that's not usually something that we want. Like here on the back, this is where the glutes are. The glutes are a little bit different, because for the glutes, we could actually go and create like things that like emphasize or give a little bit more prominence to them. I actually don't want to do it in this particular case. I think we're getting a really clean effect right here, so I don't really feel that we need it. we definitely need to push this. Just a little bit of a point here going up. There we go. I'm trying to keep it constant with what we have right here. So if over there we have like an extra little loop right here on the center, I'm gonna add that extra loop as well. And that's gonna, again, keep it kind of like symmetrical. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it's graphically symmetrical, which is it's a very important concept as well. We make sure that the things that we're seeing here appear to be symmetrical. On the back, I'm just gonna keep it simple here. So I'm gonna go a little bit lower. Or we could even just like delete the back, to be honest. Now we can make this thing go up a little bit there. That way we keep the back really, really clean. And this thing just goes over and creates this sort of thing. Anuva Vora. Hi, what is your name? My name is Abraham. Abraham. In Spanish, it's pronounced Abraham. But in English, they usually say Abraham, or as I prefer Abe. I prefer the short like nickname Abe. It's a little bit more, I don't know, easy, because Abraham sounds a little bit too strong sometimes. There we go. So we're gonna go again to subtool. We're gonna say extract with the thickness of 0. I'm gonna hit accept. Let's dynamic solo. This is what we want, or what we have. As you can see, we do have a little bit of an issue right there with the polygons. Not the end of the world, but just gotta keep that in mind. Let's go to deformation. Let's do a little bit of polish by features. Then we're gonna do geometry. We're gonna see see remesh, and we're gonna see remesh right here. And then we're gonna do half, and we're gonna keep see remeshing until we get a very, 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 very low poly. Ideally, with a nice like sort of like flow, like this one right here. That's a little bit too. That's too little. Something like this is perfect. Now, this part right here, we definitely want to fix because it's too many lines. So I'm gonna go to C Modeler, and here in C Modeler, I'm gonna go to delete. We're gonna delete the edge loop complete, and we're gonna start deleting these edges. And as you can see, that's gonna bridge things a little bit better. We can also use our move brush just to clean a little bit of this areas right there. We definitely need to bring them up a little bit more. Alston Henry Rodriguez, hello. Am I late? You're about an hour late. We started an hour ago, but we're gonna keep going a little bit more. So don't worry, my friend. We're here. Any questions? Feel free to ask. Anuva Vora says, wow, I recognize your voice and it's so nice to see you. I'm midway doing your course in Udemy, the male character creation course. It's going awesome. Your explanations are really great. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, if you've never seen our channel, well, this is it. Make sure to subscribe. We upload videos not every day, but very frequently, and we do live streams as well. So yeah, feel free to join. Okay, let's go now to C Modeler again. We're gonna go Q Mesh Polygroup All, and we're gonna push this up, and then we're gonna bevel, and we're gonna bevel the poly loop. Again, quite heavily right there, so that when we insert some support edges, you get a nice result. So when we subdivide, as you can see, get this very, very cool like armor effect. So as you can see, it's not exactly symmetrical, but it's graphically symmetrical. So the same amount of armor that we have up here, it's very similar to the amount of armor that we have right here. And we can use that. I would like to explore the fact of not having a line, so her body is just connected to the tail. I know when the Little Mermaid's kind of like a tail that you can put like on and off. But I would like this to be a little bit more like part of her body. So one thing we can do here is we can start decorating with sort of like like a membrane or something that just goes up into the body. You know what I mean? So kind of like just creates this transition, like a sculpted transition into the tail, but it's not actually that we're not like it's the same part of her body. It's just like a change in tissue or something. Austin is asking, is there any way to make a glass dirty in Maya? I tried using a roughness map from Substance, but when I render it, the roughness is noticeable. So the roughness will work. It's one of the ways to do it. Let me jump real quick. We'll do that real quick because that's a question that we get asked quite a bit. But that's as I was mentioning, it's I'm gonna do a video, like a dirty window video later on, or not later on this week. I'll promise I'll do something. But let's go real quick. Aaron says, "Sir, is it important to retopologize our models in portfolio?" Yes, it's very important to do it. Anuv is asking, I wanted to know, as a character artist, do industries demand a character from a sketch, or is base mesh acceptable, like you used in your course? Usually, base mesh is acceptable. Like, there's nothing wrong with using base meshes. However, it is important that you know how to do something without a base mesh, because every now and then you will have to do like a creature or like a zombie deformed character with like multiple arms and things like that, where there's not going to be a base mesh. So you need to be able to do it. Okay. Let's go. There's a bug with Maya now, even after the update, where you open it and it doesn't open the first time. You need to open it again. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not that bad. Okay. So let's imagine that we have a very simple scene. Actually, let's just keep the sphere. We need, one of the very important things about glass and metal is that you do need an environment to reflect. If you don't have an environment, then it's very difficult to notice the things, right? So if we create a very quick, like Arnold AI standard surface material, we get rid of the color and we turn up the transmission, this is now glass, right? Hopefully this is very obvious. And if we render, let me just change this to GPU. And if we render, this is what we get, which is just a very basic like crystal ball. One of the things that we can do to make this look a little bit better is we can of course increase the samples. So I'm going to use adaptive sampling to like 6. There we go. And then we get this. Now, if we increase the roughness, the glass becomes like frosted glass. And if we decrease the roughness, it becomes like really clean glass. So if you have a map, like let's look for something very simple, like a dirt map, like this right here, or I don't know, this one right here. Let's download this, the desktop right now. What we can do is we're gonna add the roughness map, right? So if we go here to the images and we add a file effect, we can grab that one that I just downloaded, which is something that we would get from like what's the word, from like Substance Painter, right? Like this is something that we could do it in Substance Painter. No. it's a bug from Maya, Georgie. And I don't know, they said that they were gonna, or that they fixed it on the new 2.1, but they didn't. Like, it's still there. I don't know what it is. You just have to open it twice. You know, that's how it works. So if we render now, as you can see, it doesn't, as you mentioned, it's not really looking like what we would expect, right? Like it's not, in this case, it's very noticeable. Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to change this utility to raw, so that it actually like gives us the sort of like effect that we're going for. Now let's just let me make sure that I got this on the proper map, because like I feel I didn't. Specular roughness. Yeah, no, I did it. Did I use the proper image? Let's break this. Yeah, it's there. Okay, let me try something a little bit different. Instead of using that one, I'm just gonna use a checker pattern. There we go. So the checker pattern, as you can see, is working as expected. So the parts that are white, as you can see right here, are giving me this really like super intense effect, and the parts that are black are not giving me the effect. So one of the things that I'm noticing with the image that we were using is that it may be a little bit too contrasty. So let's go back here. And instead of using this checker, let's go back to our textures and grab this one right here. So if we use the out color, okay, if we try to use the out color, as you can see, we cannot get it into the roughness. So to get this into the roughness, we need to bring this out alpha into the specular roughness. And then on this thing right here, you can see that it's now looking a little bit better, at least here on the preview. So it's the out alpha that we need to connect. And very important that we need to use this alpha is luminance option, okay? So by doing that, we should be able to get a slightly better result. There we go. So now, as you can see, when we select the alpha is luminance option, we're actually getting like dirt on the glass. So certain parts of the glass are going to be a little bit more dirty. Now, as we've mentioned before, glass is one of those things that's it needs a lot of samples. So I'm going to have to bring this up maybe to like 20 to make sure that when we render, we get enough definition, and that it just like gives us enough processing power to know where the rough things are and where they're not. Now, another thing that we can use here, because again, we're using an image that has a really strong white color, right? So a very common thing that we do, and that's why I mentioned that glass is very like shader dependent. We can use an HSL, remap HSV, this one right here, and we can get the color here. And then from the out color, we can just use like the R color right here, specular roughness, and we can remap the values. So if we push the blacks up, everything is going to be more rough, or if we push the whites down, everything's going to be a little bit more shiny. So we're pretty much telling it, hey, I don't want whites to have a value of 1. I want whites to have a value of 0.6 or like 0.5, right? So this is going to bring the roughness down while still keeping the same sort of like detail. We're kind of like crunching the values of the element, and as you can see, we're going to start getting a nicer effect. But again, glass, you need a lot of samples to make this work. The way that we can do this as well is if we combine the glass information with other things, such as a double layer, so an extra layer of like rust or something on top of this, we're gonna get a slightly different effect. I'm not sure if that answers the question there, Alston, about the glass. Now another thing right now, this glass is a thick glass, so that's why we're like seeing it through it. If we want this to be a thin glass, again on the shader itself, down here where it says geometry, we can make this thin walled, and when we render, the behavior is going to be slightly different, because now it's like a bubble that has like weird effects on the surface. But again, you can see even with 20 samples on this like adaptive sampling, is still a little bit too low. There's another thing that we can do here. Let me just remember where this thing was. I think it's on the geometry shape. So if we go to the shape and we go to Arnold, there's a way to increase the samples on this thing without increasing them everywhere. I don't remember where it was. No, I think it was there. Transmission set to 1. Yeah, it's there, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, we can just go to like if we don't use the samples and we go over here, there's an option where we can increase on the, for instance, here on the ray depth, we can increase the transmission rays and the diffuse and the speculars. That's gonna give us a little bit more precision on the whole thing, but we definitely need quite a bit of samples. Like even here, we will need something like 50 samples, I think, which is way too much. Like this is gonna take, I don't know, like 2-3 minutes to really solve all of this information, but that's what we need. We can of course use denoiser, but the problem with glass and denoiser is that you get this like flickering things like happening from one point to another, and that might not be what we're looking for. Well, I'm gonna have to stop the stream right now, my friends, because there's a couple of things that I have to take care of here at the studio. But we'll continue with this girl. I know we didn't finish this in time for Mermaid, which was the prompt that we were going for. but I promise we're gonna continue her so that we can just like finish every single piece. I've been wanting to do a mermaid for a while now, so I really want to finish this one. I'll be back probably tomorrow with a video. I think I'm gonna be talking about more about glass, so if you don't want to miss that information, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down here on the channel. And also remember, we have like 2 or 3 hours left for our promo code, so if you want to get any of our courses with a huge discount, use the promo code ALLMADE2 on Udemy to well, to get this discount. Join us in Discord, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you back tomorrow with more content. Thank you very much for being here in the stream, and have a great